Welcome back. Salga in KwaZulu-Natal is concerned about the impact of the latest interest rate hike on service delivery. The Reserve Bank has increased the repo rate to 5.5%. That is the biggest hike in nearly 2 decades.
Well, the Local Government Association says this means municipalities may be forced to redirect funds to service debt. Let's discuss this further now with Provincial chairperson Thami Ntuli. Mr. Ntuli, thank you so much for your time this morning. I mean, a lot of these municipalities have got some kind of external loans with the very same financial institutions, meaning that they also will be paying high interest rates. What does exactly that mean then for service delivery in municipalities?
Good morning, Faith, and your colleague and the viewers. In fact, as Salga in KwaZulu-Natal, we see this increase as being impactful in service delivery. Hence, you know that some of the municipalities, in their loans, they don't have fixed interest rates. As a result, whenever there is a movement in the interest rates, it impacts on them. And mind you, for the budget that have already been passed, repaying the loans, they had some amounts set aside which will be impacted by this increase. And even on what they are paying their suppliers for the materials they use, there will also be an impact. It means the budget itself is impacted in a manner that will affect service delivery. And you must remember that this is coming at a point wherein a local government, for the first time in the history, is owned more than 2.5 billion by the government departments for water, for electricity, for refuse removal, which that on its own has actually disabled the municipalities to efficiently provide service delivery. I'm talking about the province in KwaZulu-Natal, where more than 70% of, if not 80% of the municipalities are actually rural. You just imagine, and it has even a direct impact on the ordinary citizen that rely on the municipalities for particular services. We are coming from the time wherein there were many disasters that impacted on the issues of collecting the revenue. You recall that we had a period during COVID time where a lot of municipalities had to relax the issues of what the consumers owe. I mean, the ratepayers owe the local government. As a result, a lot of municipalities were not collecting. When you consider all these facts, you realize that it has a negative impact. Hence, we think even the treasurer, when receiving reports and on monthly basis, will need to consider the impact of this increase because it direct impacts on the issues of the service delivery. In our survey, Salga in KwaZulu-Natal, we've realized that 5 out of 15 municipalities who have investments will benefit, but 10 out of 15 municipalities who are having loans with the interest rates which are not fixed, they will be affected. And only 3 out of 15 municipalities will be actually not, because they have the fixed interest rates on their debts. So that is what Salga in KwaZulu-Natal was seeing as another burden which is loaded over the shoulders of the local government.
Mr. Ntuli, we are in a country that has a service delivery protest every other day, every other week. There have been service delivery protests, I think, since the dawn of democracy, where South Africans feel that what they were promised in 1994, they've not received. There are people that have not received basic services from their local governments, from the national government. So when now you as Salga are saying that these interest rate hikes are going to impact service delivery, what then do you say to a citizen who says, I've not even received the most basic service delivery since 1994? So you're essentially just giving me excuses at this point.
In fact, as Salga in KwaZulu-Natal, we are advocating for quality service delivery. That is our always discussion with local government, that in KwaZulu-Natal we need to up our pace to refrain from the things that will impact adversely in the work that we are supposed to do. As a result, we are even encouraging the Assisho campaign, where we encourage that consultation should be made with all levels of the citizen in the local government, especially the youth who are not attending the whole consultations, where we are encouraging local government to use the fourth industrial revolution, so that whether they will be continuing using the whole meetings, but they will be also migrating. The issue of service delivery is an issue which, as local government, we believe we've contributed a lot compared to any sphere of government. It's only that the story of local government is always obviously not in fact comprehended. Whereas local government, when you talk about the provision of electricity, when you talk about the provision of the community service centers, there is a lot. Local government, you find that they are doing now even things which are not meant for local government. The only distinction which are supposed to be made is the issue of the backlog as to exactly which sphere of government is responsible for that backlog. However, we believe that as local government, due to even the limited resources, allocation that they receive in a rural province such as KwaZulu-Natal, it impacted to that one. However, that is not an excuse. We want to see local government delivering services according to the society. But we're mentioning this because to ignore the fact that there is such, it will create the expectation that things are going smooth, whereas local government, this is taken a bit aback by this increase of the interest rate. When you talk about even our economy, we know where we are, and then seeing an increased interest rate, especially on the budget itself, that was decreased due to the issue of what happened in COVID, the redirection of some funds due to the disasters that have been taking more here in KwaZulu-Natal. You remember that we had looting. You remember that we had the floods.
Just to interject there, Mr. Ntuli, as you're mentioning all of this, it certainly does mean that South Africa's issues are really exacerbated, and it does not necessarily help that we've got this interest rate hike to, look forward to. But we have to leave our conversation here for this morning, unfortunately. Thank you so much, though, for your insights this morning. Thami Ntuli is the chairperson of Salga in KwaZulu-Natal, just sharing some light in terms of exactly how is it that this interest rate hike will actually impact municipalities directly.